show number 30. You're looking at 2.0, and this is show number 30. Hi, folks. Blink, blink. I'm looking for a mind. I believe I'm fixing to die. Believe I'm fixing to die. Believe I'm fixing to die. I'm looking for a man. Believe I'm fixing to die. Well, I know I was born to die, but I hate to leave my children crying. Just as sure as we live today, so we're born to die. So we're born to die. So we're born just as sure as we live. So we're born to die. I know I was born to die, but I hate to leave my children crying. Mother, take my children back before they let me down. Before they let me down. Before they let me down. Mother, take my children back before they let me down. Don't leave them standing crying on that graveyard ground. Fixin' to die. Fixin' to die. Bukka White. Bukka, which was the record company guy said, "What's your name?" And he said, "Bukka White." Booker T. Washington White. So he said Bukka White, and the guy wrote down Bukka and put that on the record. That was 1930. Or it may have been in 1937. I couldn't find out on Wikipedia. He was on one label in 1930 and another in 1937, and I think he was on the one that he joined in 1937. But just in case you wonder, he lived another 40 years. He did fine. He wasn't fixing to die, actually. Neither was Bob Dylan in 1962 when he did it on his first album. But it's an interesting song. It's unique in that it talks about dying as, what are they going to think after I'm dying, after I'm dead, rather than, I don't want to die, kind of thing, which many blues would be occupied with. And now, another song which is old, not quite as old. Okay, the first version of it was 1930, so in that sense, it's as old. My Happiness. Elvis Presley recorded My Happiness. That was the first thing he ever recorded. He recorded it for his mother. He paid money to record it and gave a copy to his mother, or gave the only copy to his mother. I'm not sure which it was. At any rate, a year later, I think he wound up signing with the people at Sun Records. But I learned it from Jimmy Beasley, a New Orleans musician who is so little known that you can't even find him on Wikipedia. You can find the song, but you can't find him. There is a CD of his stuff. He was great. good-time New Orleans singer, piano player, Jimmy Beasley. And My Happiness was by Bornstein. Borny. It's not Barney, it's Borny. I can't understand that. Borny Bornstein. And then later, Betty Patterson wrote better words, so they used her words. And then it became a big hit. And that was in the 40s. So, key is it in? Evening shadows make me blue, when each weary day is through. How I long to be with you, my happiness. Every day I rhyme my knees, dreaming of your tender kiss, always thinking how I miss my happiness. A million years it seems have gone by since we shared our dreams, but I'll hold you again. There'll be no blue memories there, where the skies are gray or blue. Anywhere on earth will do, just as long as I'm with you. My happiness. Years it seems have gone by since we shared our dreams, but I'll hold you again. There'll be no blue memories then, where the skies are gray or blue. Anywhere on earth will do, just as long as I'm with you. My happiness. Oh, Mr. Pleasant, how is Mrs. Pleasant? I hope the world is treating you fine, and your head's in the air, and you're feeling so proud, 'cause you're such a success that the whole wide world is on your side. Hey, hey. How are you today? People say Mr. Pleasant is good, Mr. Pleasant is fine, Mr. Pleasant's okay, Mr. Pleasant don't mind, and as long as Mr. Pleasant's alright, hey, hey. How are you today? How's your brother? How's your father? How's your mother? How's your brand new limousine? 72-inch TV screen. Do you like prosperity more than you like poverty? Life is easier, so much easier. Life is easier now. Oh, Mr. Pleasant. How is Mrs. Pleasant? Did you hear she was flirting around with another young man, and he's taking her out when you have to work late, and it's not so pleasant after all? Hey, hey. How are you today? People say Mr. Pleasant is good, Mr. Pleasant is fine, Mr. Pleasant's okay, Mr. Pleasant don't mind, as long as Mr. Pleasant's alright. Hey, how are you today? Well, that's Ray Davies of the Kinks. I think it was 1967. I don't know. It's somewhere back there. Maybe it was 68. I really can't remember. I should just shut up if I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't you agree? Well, a couple more songs here. Definitely. Here's a song I recorded. I recorded this because I wrote it. And I wrote it for a couple of reasons. It was pretty funny, actually. I gave away about 50 copies of an album, and I said, I'll give this to you. Just tell me what you think. How many people do you think got back to me and told me what they thought of it? Yes, that's how many. Anyway, I certainly learned something, and I tried to put some of that into this song, which I put on my next album. Another big seller. Don't you agree that a person's word should mean something? Don't you want to know who you can count on? Wishing for things that may never come true, and nobody ever gets back to you. Nobody ever gets back to you. Nobody ever gets back to you. We all get caught up in our lives. There's always too much to do. Don't take it personal when it's universal. Nobody ever gets back to you. 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 what they say. Maybe few and far between. That's only natural and only incidental, you know what they say. But you don't know if you know what they mean. If you lined up everyone who ever said they'd call you, end to end, they might stretch around the world. Everyone would be there, I would be there too. Nobody ever gets back to you. 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 Nobody ever gets back. Nobody ever gets back to you. Yes, there's a song in there somewhere. That's right. I think that song is still finding itself. But it's very interesting because, of course, it's wrong. Some people do get back to you. But I've found it to be the exception rather than the rule. You know what's really great? When you try and get a hold of somebody and they're supposed to call you back and they keep not calling you back, and you keep calling them and they keep not getting back to you, and you don't know what to do. Like, you have to see them. You have to get something from them. And they got something you need, and sure enough, you don't have anything they need, so they don't get back to you. I mean, people have priorities, and they choose their priorities because they can't do everything that they're trying to do. Multitasking is a cute word, which I probably shouldn't get into right now. There's a fallacy in the idea of multitasking, which is that you don't give everything your full concentration, and it counts. You actually don't do the same thing when you're not giving something your full concentration. This has something to do with the dichotomy of books and moving media, like my hand moving now. Yeah, reading a book, you really have to read it. Listening to music, you should really have to listen to it, but not in an MP3 player, because, thank you, because you are actually missing 90% of the sound in an MP3. Did you know that? Well, it is true. You can compare, if you like a song enough to listen to it in a variety of formats, you can listen to it on a CD, you can listen to it on MP3, you can listen to it on vinyl. And the vinyl is best. The vinyl sounds best. Of course, it depends on the condition of the vinyl and whether you've got a decent record player, decent speakers, the whole rest of it. But there's an awful lot of people who fuss about how good a TV they want, and yet they listen to music on an iPod with these crummy earbuds. Earbuds. I've never had earbuds in my ears, Bud. Bud, if I did, I'd probably think what people are, I don't know. I believe in having a stereo. You have a stereo, you kind of fill the room with sound. It sort of sounds like the band is playing. When you just stuff that into your ears and you say, okay, we pretend the band is all people like this and they're stuffed in my ear. It's not the same. It's not the same as filling the room with sound. My favorite stereos sound like the band is standing in front of you playing. Of course, you do have a volume problem. A lot of bands play too loud. I'll tell you what I found in the 60s, and what I haven't changed my mind on this. It's a lot easier to be loud than it is to be good. So I used to go to CBGB's, and I saw hundreds of bands there, and they were all just as loud, and a dozen or two were really good. Okay, I'll just play a Ray Charles song. I played this on some previous show. I love this song. That's Enough. It's called That's Enough. And he wrote it. He wrote great songs. By the time he really got famous, he wasn't really writing songs anymore. These things happen. Raymond Chandler says you do all your best work before anybody knows who you are. And by the time everybody is telling you you're great, you got nothing left to say, and you know all the tricks. He was a wise man when he wasn't drunk. Raymond Chandler was. Ray Charles was a wise man, too. Baby, if you want me to love you, here's what you gotta do. You gotta love me. You gotta hug me. You gotta kiss me. And you gotta miss me. You got to hold me in your arms, and that's enough. That's enough. Baby, if you want me for your man, here's what you gotta understand. You gotta squeeze me. You gotta please me every day, all the way. You got to hold me in your arms, and that's enough. That's enough. Guitar. Baby, if you want to stay on my mind, you gotta love your daddy all the time. I want my baby, and I don't mean maybe. I want my baby, come on, drive me crazy. I want you to hold me in your arms, and that's enough. 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 Oh, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. And oh yes, the poster behind me, that's a Luxottica poster. That is an eyeglasses company in Italy. In 1989, calendar page. That's what that huge damn thing is. I guess it's to be viewed from from in front of the counter when the wall is 10 feet behind the counter. I guess that's why it's so big. I don't know. But anyone recognize this cup yet? No use having contests. Nobody ever writes in anything. Nobody ever calls. They watch my show, though. That's great. Someday I'll catch a virus and millions of people will see my show. Maybe. And maybe not. I don't really even know if that's a good thing. I like to think of doing things perfectly and having a wonderful, flawless performance and a flawless show. And, well, life isn't like that sometimes. When I make a record, I go over and over and over things. An album. I made an album last year. That was a nice project. This year, I'm just doing the TV. The Essex Farmers Market. I might play in Newport. Yes, you can all go up to Newport and see me at somebody's tavern. I can't remember the name. I'll think of it, though. There's probably not too many live music venues in Newport, Vermont. But I think I might play there. It's really interesting. 75 miles. Hopefully I'll get at least $75. It costs something in gas to get there, I guess. I could think about it, but you don't want to wait to hear me come up with the math on how much it's going to cost me to get there. It's kind of silly. But this was show number 30. I've done 30 of these things. And if any of you out there have seen them all, thank you so much. And if anybody hasn't seen them all, don't start at the beginning. They were really rough. I hate the way I look on YouTube, and the first one has the most hits. The first one sucked compared to the later ones. I mean, it's gotten better and better, and will continue to get better and better as I get better and better, and I have faith that you, my friends, are getting better and better. I'm not sure about the whole world. I'm not sure if the world is getting better and better. Trees, China, gosh, things are a mess. And we know a lot about it because of the media, which of course manipulates the information to accomplish their purposes. However, things are good, and see you next time. Here's to you.